Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at the Graph Minimap, which is an editor-only plugin. Goes for around $9 usually. And this is the GitHub documentation and the change logs. Now, to enable it, you have to go to the plugins and then enable this Graph Minimap and restart. The current version I'm reviewing is 1.6. Now when you go to the editor, these are the three tabs which control the things. This is the minimap. You can see in the bottom left. In one of the latest updates, this feature have been added, so that lets you go to different comments. And the graph has different modes that you can toggle. The default shortcut, I think, is Control M. You can make it invisible. You can make it so that you can resize it. Basically, you click and drag to resize it. You can click anywhere on the graph. And the other one is visible. It doesn't do anything, just makes it visible. And the one that I use is the controllable that lets you go to this section by clicking or right clicking on it, on the section of the graph. Also another shortcut would be Control N that lets you cycle through the different comment sections. Now let's look at the settings and see what each one does. This is the default minimap, is the one I showed, and the size is the one, and the rendering scale. Basically, if it's smaller, it lets you do, or when, for example, in this case, the graph is too big, the scale is 0.5. So you either decrease the scale, you clear the cache and reopen it again, or, and now you see it works. Or you have to, you can see the max graph size. So you either increase that, let's make it the default, and now let's reopen it and you see it doesn't work. And the size is already there, so we just, it tells you what's the size. So it's maybe by increasing it by 500 on both X and Y should make it manageable. But be careful of toggling this setting. It can cause crash if you run out of VRAM. Now you can change this the place where it is, top left, top right. But the one I'm using, bottom left. You can change the opacity of the graph and or the tint if you so like it. And the icon size, the one that lets you which mode you're on. And also its color. I don't know what the padding does, to be honest. And this is, let's go to another graph to, on a main graph to show this. This is the border that shows which one are rendered or seen. You can change the color of that or its thickness. There are those drag sensitivity and stuff. And this is the scale or size, and that's the area opacity. Now you have to type minimap in the editor preference to show the shortcuts if you want to change that. One of the main issues I have with this plugin is when you drag a pin and want to go somewhere that's not currently rendered on the viewport, normally goes there or moves the viewport, but when this is enabled, doesn't let you. As you can see, the graph is jiggling around. This plugin is not limited to Blueprint only. It works with Control Rig, Niagara, scratch pads, or Niagara scratch pads, animation blueprints, meta sounds, and even things like physics assets. Last but not least, even custom plugins. For example, I use this flow graph plugin which I downloaded from GitHub and works with that as well. So in conclusion, I think it's a really good concept. I've seen many other programs that natively have this feature, but Unreal does not, and that's why such plugin exists. My main two major issues is the first, when you drag a pin but the graph doesn't move while you're dragging the pin, so you cannot connect something that's not currently being rendered in your blueprint graph. And the second one is the pins get larger when you zoom out. That's kind of annoying and downright ugly. So I hope this gets fixed along with the performance, so that you don't have to decrease the scale that much or increase the maximum graph size, because those affect performance somewhat heavily in heavy graphs. I mean, the point of this plugin is for to help you with crowded graphs. So what's the point if you cannot use it on large graphs without sacrificing much performance? As it is currently, it's a good idea, but not so good implementation. However, I am optimistic that the author will fix the bugs and improve the performance, and enable you to use this with large graphs.